See that flat line? That is your battery sitting at maximum voltage for hours. That one habit quietly accelerates wear. Repeat it daily, and you are shaving off long-term capacity that can translate into a $12,000 to $16,000 battery replacement you never planned for. For simple Tesla habits that actually save you money, subscribe. What the battery system actually does. Leave your Tesla plugged in when it is parked. That is how the system is designed to operate. The battery is not just sitting there when the car is off. The battery management system is always working in the background. It monitors cell voltage, balances energy across the pack, and manages temperature to keep everything stable. This does not stop when you unplug the car. Here is what most people miss. When your Tesla is plugged in, it can maintain an optimal state of charge using external power. When it is unplugged, the car still runs these background processes, but now it pulls energy from the battery itself. That creates small, repeated fluctuations instead of a steady state. Over time, those fluctuations are not ideal. The system has to wake up, adjust, and settle again. That is where unnecessary variation comes in. The action is simple. Keep the car connected whenever possible, especially overnight or during long parking periods. The benefit is stability. The battery stays within a controlled range, temperature stays regulated, and the system does its job without drawing down the pack. And over time, that consistency matters more than people realize. What actually ages a Tesla battery? Stop focusing on charging cycles. That idea sounds important, but it is not what drives aging in a Tesla battery. What matters more is where the battery spends its time. At high levels of charge, the voltage inside the cells stays elevated. At very low levels, the battery operates closer to its lower limits. Neither condition is ideal when it is repeated often. Add heat into that situation, and the stress increases further. This is not guesswork. It aligns with how lithium-ion batteries behave under different conditions. Research shows that keeping a battery near full charge, especially in higher temperatures, accelerates degradation compared to operating within a moderate range. Here is what most owners overlook. It is not one full charge or one low battery event that causes problems. It is the pattern. Leaving the car at 100% for extended periods or repeatedly letting it drop very low creates small amounts of stress each time. Those small effects accumulate. The action is simple. Keep your daily usage within a moderate window and avoid letting the battery sit at the extremes for long. The benefit is stability. The battery ages more slowly, and performance stays consistent. Most changes in battery health are gradual. They come from habits that feel normal, repeated over time, until the difference becomes noticeable. The correct daily charging habit: set your charge limit to a moderate range and leave it there. That is the simplest way to manage your Tesla day to day. For most drivers, keeping the battery between 70 and 80% works well. It keeps the battery away from both extremes while still giving you enough range for daily use. You do not need to chase 100% every night. If your Tesla uses a lithium iron phosphate battery, the approach changes slightly. Charging to 100% once a week helps the system maintain accurate range estimation. For nickel-based batteries, there is no need to do that regularly. Here is where consistency matters. Plug in when you get home, let the car handle the rest, and avoid constantly adjusting the limit. The system is designed to manage charging efficiently when given a stable routine. The action is straightforward. Set the limit once, plug in daily, and let the car maintain that level. The benefit is balance. The battery stays within a comfortable operating range without unnecessary stress. And over time, that steady routine keeps performance predictable instead of slowly drifting without you noticing. If this is helping you avoid costly mistakes, stay with me. The expensive charging behavior to avoid. Stop waiting for your battery to drop low before charging. That habit comes from fuel-based thinking, and it does not fit how a Tesla is designed to operate. As the battery level falls, the system begins to protect itself. Around the lower range, energy usage is reduced. Go further down, and more functions are limited to preserve what is left. This is not a failure. It is the system trying to prevent damage. Tesla makes this clear in their own guidance. Allowing the battery to fully discharge can lead to issues, and in some cases, those situations may not be covered under warranty. Here is where the real cost appears. Repeating low battery cycles forces the system to recover from a stress state again and again. That adds unnecessary strain compared to keeping the battery within a moderate range. The action is simple. Plug in before the battery gets too low. Treat low charge as a condition to avoid, not a target to reach. The benefit is stability. The car remains responsive, and the battery operates within a more controlled environment. Most people do not notice this pattern immediately. It shows up gradually, as the car feels less consistent than it used to. Home charging versus supercharging. Reality: use home charging for your daily routine. That should be your default. Charging at home uses alternating current, which feeds energy into the battery at a slower, more controlled rate. Supercharging uses direct current and delivers power much faster, which also means more heat and higher load on the system. The car manages this well, but the conditions are not the same. Here is the part many owners overlook. Fast charging is designed for distance, not daily use. When you rely on it all the time, you are adding more thermal stress than necessary compared to steady home charging. Then there is cost. Home electricity is usually cheaper, especially if you charge during off-peak hours. Superchargers are convenient, but the price per kilowatt hour is higher, and idle fees can add up if the car stays plugged in after charging is complete. The action is clear. Charge at home whenever possible, and use supercharging when you actually need speed. The benefit is both financial and mechanical. You spend less per mile and keep the battery operating under more stable conditions. Over months of ownership, this difference shows up in both your charging costs and how consistently the car performs day to day. The simple ownership principle: plug in, set your limit, and leave it alone. That is the simplest way to manage your Tesla. Most owners overthink charging. They keep adjusting limits, watching percentages, and reacting to small changes that do not actually matter. That creates inconsistency. The system inside the car is already built to handle energy flow, temperature control, and battery balance without constant input from you. When you follow a steady routine, the entire system settles into a predictable pattern. The battery stays within a moderate range. Temperature remains controlled. The car does not need to keep correcting itself because your behavior is stable. Here is the part that changes how you think about it. You are not managing the battery directly. You are creating the conditions that allow the system to manage it efficiently. Small, consistent habits do more than occasional perfect charging decisions. The action is simple. Plug in when you get home, set a reasonable charge limit, and avoid constantly changing it unless your usage actually changes. The benefit is clarity. The car is always ready. The battery operates within a stable window, and you remove unnecessary decision-making from your routine. Most people look for complex strategies. In reality, consistency is what keeps the system working the way it was designed to work. Final thought: the simple charging mindset. Stop treating your Tesla like a fuel tank. That mindset creates most of the mistakes you have seen so far. An electric vehicle works best when it stays within a steady rhythm. Plug in regularly, keep a moderate charge limit. Let the system maintain balance instead of forcing it into extremes. That is what the car was designed for. Once you shift this perspective, everything becomes easier. You stop chasing range. You stop guessing when to charge. The car simply stays ready when you need it. The real advantage is not just battery health. It is consistency, predictable range, fewer surprises, less time thinking about something that should already be handled in the background. Most owners look for complicated rules. In practice, the simplest routine is usually the most effective. If you value clear Tesla advice without the noise, subscribe for more no-fluff breakdowns that actually help you drive smarter.